Right. Good evening and good afternoon. Welcome back um, to today's lectures. I hope you're all doing great and have had a great week so far. Um, Today, I just want to do a quick recap of what we did last week. We've been working closely on customer development. Prior to that, we worked on the market analysis, and these two are things that as a product manager you will be doing almost always. You know, it is something that is critical and it's one of the core aspects of product management because this is where you generate user stories. This is how you find insights into the product that you are building, right? Um, and as I had said earlier, as a product manager, there's so much that is at stake, right? There's so much at stake for you. Um, Product is not cheap. Engineering is not cheap. Nothing comes cheap. It costs a lot of money to the company. And that's why product managers are needed to reduce waste. Waste in, by waste, what we remain here is not just like, um, it's more like working on the most important things and not spending so much time on things that do not or does not add value. So product manager is trained to listen for the noise, you know, and signal to be able to signal to notice the signal out of the noise. Um, we don't take customer um, insights for granted because this is what actually informs our trajectory. This is what helps as a product manager to know if you are building the right product, to know if your product is actually making an impact, to know if your product is making a difference, and to know that you're building the right thing. So um, we have done, talked about business needs, which is critical because in order to achieve this, you're looking at what are our business, what kind of business are we in, and what are we looking to solve, and then looking internally and internalizing what you have. You now want to validate what you have internally. That is what the VPs have brought to you. The what a VP of engineering, what the um, marketing directors, the CEOs, all the stakeholders that are even the CEO, the C-suite, all the visions that they have, they share with the company, and you carry that torch, or what a part of the product that you're a part of has to tie back into the objectives and key results. But then you don't just, like I always say, you're not a waiter to just wait, be on wait, get told what to do, and just go execute. You need to push back. You need to have a backbone. You need to be able to um, be data driven. That is, whatever decision that you make, it has to be influenced by sound data and not just I think or I hope so. So that is why um, we're spending some more time on this part of product management, because once we go into feature prioritization, product planning, and working with engineering and UX, you would clearly understand why customer research and customer development is very important. How to prioritize and deploy research activities to understand customer goals, customer needs, and pain points. Also, it helps you to create what we call product persona, or the user persona. The user persona is identifying the users and who they are, not just so you can identify their not just the name, but their demographics, their age, how much they earn, the level of education, in what context are they using the product. So um, some products are used by, if a product that's geared towards Gen Z, or will be very different from a product that is for baby boomers or people that are getting to settle down and start a family, and all that stuff. So we product managers do all that legwork ahead of time prior to even coming down with the requirements that are needed for development. Any questions so far?
I don't have any.
All right, Simone. All right, I'll continue then. Thanks. Okay, so I'm going to recap a bit. Some of the things that we have to take into account is also product managers when you're doing research is not just we divvied it up into two for both customer development and research, and then we did market research. But we need to know that there's always competition out there, and competition is healthy for any industry. Competition is needed to drive innovation. So this is what spurs users or product managers to go into doing research. Okay. So competition is definitely important because it engenders innovation. Competition in business is the reason why product managers need to conduct research, right? If the product that you have or trying to build doesn't have any competition, then it's likely that it won't have too many customers either, right? Sometimes we want to have this idea and want to believe that we are the only ones to have had that idea, but that's not always the case, right? An attractive market opportunity will always entice many parties to take a crack at it. So when you're doing your research, you come across incumbents, and when there's seemingly no incumbents, then you need to ask yourself, why are there no incumbents in this space, right? And so product managers need research the competitors. So we've talked about all that, and so the question is, how do we keep up as product managers, right? So we as product managers, we view competitors as a double-edged sword, right? Because they are looking to grab our potential market share and make it harder for us to innovate or to close deals or get customers. But the competition also pushes our product to reach its potential, because we all know MySpace, Friendster, High Five, and all the others that came before Facebook, and they are no more. And they were before Facebook, but Facebook was able to innovate, and Facebook won on strategy rather than vision. They had a strategy to unseat them and make away with all the competition, even though they came in a few years later, right? So, regardless of how much any time that we spend tracking and analyzing competition, the good thing is that they'll always be moving the post, and it's a good thing. So we see that happening between Android and iPhone, between even the car industry, always trying to push copying from each other or learning from each other. Copy as much as not being infringing on their rights. Sometimes they downright infringe on it, but it's all part of the way to grow, right? So for tech companies, it is very important to understand the current markets, right? And understanding current market requires customer research, which we have been talking about for the past since last week. And so in doing so, it is critical that we build and hone this muscle as part of our product toolkit. So, some of the things that we track and analyze in our competition, because they're always innovating, is we look at their functionality, what new features they brought out. As you can see, Facebook never had any stories, but they copied it from Snapchat. And then status updates are now part of WhatsApp. And, so they're all cannibalizing each other, copying from each other. as a product manager, you interface with very so many stakeholders. So some of it includes marketing and communications. So in tracking your competitors, which I went through all that with in the previous classes, we looked at how you can go into steal, how, well, not steal, I use steal as in parenthesis, but look at how they execute their ad copy, what is the reach of their marketing. So things like understanding the messaging, right? The messaging of your competitors, understanding the pricing. If you don't want to overprice yourself or underprice yourself, because some customers will wonder, why are you so cheap, and they might think you are inferior. So all these things come into play. Even though as a product manager you are not directly responsible for the pricing, that should also be factored in your research, right? In understanding, in doing gathering or just doing your customer development. So market analysis, sizing the market, and doing market research and customer development, they really go hand in hand. One doesn't one complements the other, because when you understand the market, it helps you understand the kind of questions you should be inquiring of your user base, because the product positions will always evolve, and your customers and will always want to look at the pros and cons of each solution available to them before they will part away with their dollars, attention, or any commitment. So social media, we don't pay for it, but we are the product, because we are paying for it with our attention, with our data, right? So why would anybody pick any product over the other? They weigh the pros and cons. So likewise, as a product manager, you need to go in and weigh out the pros and cons before you go into any venture, right? And the product managers don't only research the competitors only. They also have to look at the landscape as a whole and look for inspiration to push them and their team forward. So, I've given a few examples with the social media, also with our phones. We see Apple came up with the touch screen, and now all phones are now touch screen. Prior to 2007, most phones had the trackball and the keypad, trying to compact the keyboard onto a small device, and Apple just came and revolutionized it. You look at, I remember back then, there was this phone that had the trackball, the BlackBerry and all that. They still had the traditional keyboard and the T9, and then the quick type and swipe and all that good stuff. They've all been phased out because Apple just changed the whole landscape. Now, Samsung has copied the same thing, HTC, you name it, Google Plus. They've all copied from Apple. And like I said, product management is not just tech; it's also in the automotive industry, in the aviation industry. It's everywhere, right? So, for example, auto manufacturers know they've got to track what the likes of Toyota, Ford, Fiat, Honda, BMW. So basically, even car companies know where they match, right? Sometimes the BMWs and the Mercedes and the Audis are in a class of their own. And then you have the Maseratis, you have the Lamborghinis, because a Toyota will not be concerned about what Lamborghini or Bugatti are doing. Bugatti and Lamborghini and Pagani and you name it, all those cars, they are in a certain class of their own. So they would want to learn from each other or steal from each other, right? And then now another innovative darling in the industry, in the automotive industry, is what? Tesla. It's so innovative, it's cool design, cool tech. Now Ford has come with the E. All companies are following the trend, right? They're backing the trend because Elon Musk was able to add a cool factor, generate that hype that everybody feels like, oh, it's cool and hip to drive a Tesla. Like I've been wanting to drive one for the longest time. I've driven all of them, and I know soon my time will come and I can own one, right? So this is just to give you an example of how, cars come into business, or automotive industry. So don't pigeonhole yourself in product management. It could be in so many industries. Also, we see Uber started first, and then Lyft came into the fray. And as you can tell, there is really they're the two incumbents. A few others have come in and fizzled out. There was one called Via. There was so many different types that have come in and gone. There's looks like the two mainstays are Uber and Lyft. So they copy from each other, and when somebody fails, the other jumps on the other. And there are times when I think Uber used to have not okay, so that I don't get myself. Let me just use generic terms. One of them would actually employ people to order rides on the competitor's platform and then cancel. All right. So it was, that those are dirty tactics. The goal was to just get the users and the drivers to get frustrated. Why is that? So without identifying who did what, I'll say A or B. So drivers on A will get ride requests, and then when they're ready to fulfill the drive request, they get canceled over and over again. So they start thinking, this platform sucks. Let me move to the other one. Do you get my point? So these are some of the things that I don't condone that, but these are some of the things that they did. Another example is Netflix. When Netflix came out and they tried to sell themselves to Blockbuster for pennies on the dollar, they just left them out of the boardroom, like who's gonna have movies mailed to their house, and all that good stuff. And I saw the documentary where Netflix actually would fire people, well, not fire them, but let them leave the company and have them go take jobs at Blockbuster as employees to learn the ins and out of the business and then siphon up the information back. That is, it's not ethical. You can get into lawsuits for that. So you have to find ethical ways of, doing this without being on the right side of the law, right? Cool. So how do we do this and be on the right side of the law, right? In our customer research, um, you know, first thing is you have to keep up on your competitive product research by compiling a list of your competitors and looking at their product teams, and you must ensure that you're getting a steady stream of intelligence on what they are up to. So same thing with nations. When we have the CIA always gathering intelligence on the field, we have our ears to the ground. We have Americans in so many different hotspots of the world gathering information and relaying back to reams and reams of data, so we know what's going on with our allies and our adversaries. Right. Same thing as a product manager. You should always be researching and getting streams of data on what your competitors are doing. So you can set up a bunch of calendar reminders to check their websites once a week. When I was at B&H, we would look at Target, we would look at Walmart, we look at all these other companies and how when there's no innovation coming, we just have to go on their sites every once in a while. Oh, I see this cool feature. They just rolled out this new thing. What does this do? Okay, oh, I got it. Compare it to what we have. Now we don't have it. Well, how can we get that too? Let's throw that on our roadmap. Or let's vet it. Let's test it out. Okay, this is good. I think we should do it too. Right? So, put it up on your calendar maybe once a week or every other week or once a month, depending on your bandwidth, right? Set up some sort of a automated passive system, which is gives you a consistent stream of ideas and insights as a product manager to have your team stay fresh and not stale, right? So, you can subscribe to newsletters, follow them on social media, read their blog posts. Like Apple and most companies will do like the whatever those conferences that they have, or the CEO will give a sort of a state of a union of what's going on with them. And when they do their product launches, everybody, the whole world tunes in to watch them. Google has one called Google I/O. Apple has their Apple Developer Conference, or when they will unveil new products. Facebook has one called F8 or Fate. So Facebook is basically F and then the letters in Facebook. So the F8 is like Facebook's um, state of the union, or what's the state of the company. This is where we're going. This is the new products we've been working on. So the new verticals and all that good stuff, right? So tracking product reviews, follow the relevant industry analysts and pundits, set up Google alerts on their products, watch their webinars. These are ways to be able to really, in a way, understand your competition, right? There's also several other ways, right? You want to do like a matrix of the products, because some of the products are not the same, right? So when we look at the automotive industry, like I said prior, if you are the PM for BMW, you would not be looking at, say, Hyundai or some other company. You'll be looking at Audi, um, Mercedes, and the likes. So Toyotas usually will look up on the Hondas and sometimes on the American companies, and to like learn from each other. So these are the kind of things that you do. So it's like you know, um,
Well, Audi and BMW, they look at their competitors, you mean, to the right and to the left, the top two or top three.
what was that again?
They usually look at the top two or top three competitors to them.
Exactly. So basically, if you're in the pharmaceutical or healthcare, you'll be looking at what? CVS, Amazon PayPack.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Was that?
I was just thinking about the cars because I've had Audi and BMW and whatever. Audi has more features. Now pay attention. They have more features. They have those 4 rings when you open the door. That's a big design feature. BMW didn't even try. They didn't even bother. Not that they have to do that same thing, but it's just more features in the car. And I think that's why it sells, but they're around the same price point. BMW's offering less. I don't know what they're doing now, but I know as a couple years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it goes through the same product cycle. A lot of research. They have the anthropologist, they have the ergonomist. So the ergonomist looks at so many things. Like the BMWs, I think they have one where they project the odometer and the dashboard or the panels onto the windshield, right? So you can see your speed and everything on the windshield, and they have an eye tracking device to tell where your eyes are looking. All these other stuff. Like my car has had it. Well, it still has it. It's just somebody knocked it off. I have to get it fixed. What we call a blind spot monitoring system. So when I'm trying to change lanes and the car is in my blind spot, it will go beep beep beep. Or in some cases, when you're trying to turn into the left lane and it's a car, it will make the steering wheel a bit stiffer to give you like that feedback that, hey, you can't go there. And when I'm backing up and somebody's like approaching, it also beep beep, so I know they're approaching. Then it saved me a lot.
Oh, that feature where if they're getting close to you and it's like, a car is getting close. Yeah. Or you're getting too close. That's a good feature.
Very good feature. I have one. There's one in the car that's called ABS, automatic braking system. And there are times when I've pulled into the driveway at crazy speed, and I could have smashed through the garage door, and the car stopped by itself. It was a sharp break, and I'm like, thank God, this happened several times. So like these are things
that was there. So it saved, or backing into the garage. Going into your garage, backing in and going, sometimes people
all
hit
those
the
things.
wall.
Yeah, like these days we have cars that have that when you're backing up, there are cameras now. It was a luxury, but now it's a mainstay.
Now they're like, you don't have cameras in there? You don't have cell phone chargers? You don't have, yeah. And now that since I've been in products, I look at features for everything.
That's very smart. Like that is.
And I will be in the car purchasing soon, and I'm thinking, just thinking about. I mean, like in January. So that's what I look at, the features.
And that is exactly what a product manager should be doing. As you rightly said. So all these things, like back in the 90s, early to mid 90s, having a car with power windows was like a luxury. Now it's a standard.
and
Yeah.
electric seats or something, pulling them back electronically or manually.
Yep.
That kind of stuff.
All those are now, you know, and then also
And now having a charger in the car or a slot to charge is standard, because if you don't, they're
yep.
like, what? You don't have a, yeah.
That's very observant of you. So these are like putting on your product hat and always looking, right? Always looking, understanding how things work. That is
And
like how, go ahead.
what did you say Facebook stole from somebody that they weren't doing because you were going fast?
Oh, okay. So you know Snapchat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Snapchat has a feature, all those like disappearing messages and all that stuff. This was not a Facebook thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they Facebook tried to acquire them, just like how they acquired
They should have. I don't
Insta-
use, I only use Snapchat for photos. I don't know nothing else. I'd have to ask my 14-year-old.
that. See, your 14-year-old Snapchat is his thing.
Maybe. Is it for girls or boys? Because he's on, what is he on? Yeah, they're on Snapchat and they're on TikTok.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, TikTok is so Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram is more like
The
what
kiddo. Yeah.
exactly. Those are the things that he and his cohort.
But yeah,
That's their thing.
cohort, which would be the
Exactly.
kid. Exactly.
Yeah.
Their age group
Exactly.
that they attract to those features.
Those
That's
features.
their audience.
Exactly. So they have a very short attention span, so they don't have that whole thing of you know, reading stuff and getting through all these things. They just want to come in, you know, like Snapchat.
Give me the information, or give me the joke, or give me the whatever trick, or give me the fast video.
Like
And
now.
and
Like
I want
now.
to, right. And if I can modify it and change it like in 2 seconds.
Exactly.
And they don't ask for each other's phone numbers. They ask for their,
your DM or your Instagram.
they said you don't talk to people. That's what he told me when I asked about girls. He's like, I don't talk to them. We ask, you don't ask anybody for their phone number.
Well,
You get their hand, you get their handle, because you might not want to talk to them, which is true.
I mean, it's their way of filtering, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So you have to understand your market.
Exactly. That's it. You know, like that's a very good insight right there, because you know, you realize that
and change with the, as things progress or whatever. See how they're using the app. I would think, see how they're using it and what they kind of, what could be missing, and add it to it. They're like, oh, you can do this now. You know.
That's a classic example. So had Facebook not copied some of these things, Facebook would be like MySpace right now. Had Facebook not
YouTube recently did it, because I listen to that all the time, and you couldn't watch videos and click on something else. It would cut off. But now I notice, because Clubhouse, you could do that. On that app, I could click off, take a phone call, and look at, you know, check an email, and the you know, whatever room I'm in, I'm still able to listen. They just changed it on YouTube, which it's been a minute. But yeah, they changed it to compete, because they probably saw, like you said, they were already doing it.
Exactly.
Ahead of the game.
Yep. You know, it's either you innovate or you die.
Wow.
Yep.
So Facebook tried to buy.
Yeah, Facebook tried to acquire Snapchat. They offered them $4 billion,
and
they said no. So they tried and tried, and they're like, if you can't beat them, you have to copy them. So they came up with so many products quickly to try to you know, compete, and most of them failed. But then some of the features from that, they just brought it back into Facebook. So they didn't have stories before. Now stories make Facebook a bit more relevant, right? And that whole thing about, you know, it's called ephemeral messaging, where you send stuff and it stays for a few minutes, and then well, it's a few minutes, 24 hours, then it's gone, right? So that whole thing about it's gone, it's gone. It's like, wow, like FOMO, right? It's called FOMO, fear of missing out. So you just can't, people want to read it quickly because hey, in 24 hours, it's gone.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it comes from
the FOMOs.
Yeah, it comes from that same. So I mean, there's a lot to really go into, right? With
There's a lot, Nathan. I mean, we should be getting paid millions of dollars for a product manager to have to keep up with all of this is just crazy. It would have to be taken in bits, but I totally agree with you that understanding the full scope of it is, that's what you need to do.
Exactly. So
you can fit in wherever you fit in.
Exactly. And that's why I'm spending more time on this area, because this is like the meat, right? Because this is where you get the ideas. This is where you get the juice. This is where you get
this is the idea generation.
Exactly. You can generate ideas. You can snoop around and understand the market. You can. So that's why we did the market thing. Now we're going into the customer development. And now when you have both, how do you put it together to make an insight, right? So it's not just, oh, I did a market thing, now I'm doing this. They are it's like a loop, a cycle, right? Building on top of each other. So when you're going through the cycles, you're gathering data, you're gathering information, you're gathering and then you're not just gathering information, but you also now move to the next step of
this is before you do the GTM, go to market. And
exactly.
I just wanted to comment that healthcare was super, 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 super slow in doing that. But now they're hiring people in other industries because they realized they were behind, in companies like Amazon. Well, it's hard to buy. Yeah, it's hard to buy healthcare because it's regulated, but they can buy bits and pieces of it and take the pharmacy piece. Like you said, the pill pack, they can do. They're trying, because they were slow. They were sitting on it. They were greedy. I view it as they just wanted all the money and they didn't do things for the customer. They didn't care about the customer journey. Now they do, because everybody in God is on their heels trying to take their business, because they were slow to come to market with technology, period, from every aspect. And I can see that from working there. That's why I had to rush and get a product owner certification, because I was going to be one of those people, because that's how the carriers are set up. That's why I don't want to work for them anymore, because they're behind in technology. Even though they have it now, they're still trying to come up to speed, and some people still don't have that mindset of technology is here. Not it's coming, it's here. And that you guys should have had a way for people to pick up their prescriptions, get them mailed to them, get them packaged Monday through Friday. I mean, that's just like simple concepts. So that would be easy, for Amazon to figure out. All the stuff they were not doing. They were not doing anything. They traditionally wanted you to go stand in a pharmacy in COVID now in line to get your prescription, which is absolutely ridiculous. It should have been on the app all along. Now they bug the hell out of you to come and pick it up. Now they bug you, they text you to death that it's ready. Do you need it? What? It's going to be here for 8 more days. Come down here, please.
And now, not just that. You can pick it up from any of the stores, the closest one next to you. So they're now using logistics. Before, you have to go to the very one they send it to, right?
And guess what? They have all the competitive intelligence and data. They had that at their fingertips. They know every member. They know what they're taking. They know how long they've been taking it. That's how they do population care and target smokers and people on diabetic. They know all the people taking diabetic medicine, so they can target then ads and marketing them. So they did do that. They used it for that, to help them stop being diabetic, how to eat and about their sugar or high blood pressure people. So to get them off of these medications, so they say, but they used it for that. So they did have the data. They weren't digging as deep, but they had the competitive data. You just never heard them mention it, but now they are. Now they are.
But check this out. PillPack was not started by Amazon.
It wasn't?
No, they just bought it.
Oh, I thought that. Oh, they bought it from somebody else's
Yeah,
idea.
they just went in and dropped 1 billion cold cash.
See, because
And
it was probably somebody's idea.
oh yeah, it was started by TJ Parker and Elliot Cohen.
That's good.
So
Yeah.
they started it, and
Still packed.
Amazon,
Still packed.
yep, Amazon just came in and just snooped it up,
And said,
picked it
they're
up.
like, we're already mailing stuff. We're already delivering. So why can't we deliver the prescriptions? I thought it was ingenious.
Amazon has the logistics and the data insights, the analytics, and so it was a no brainer. It was just a no brainer.
Just the only thing that keeps the healthcare industry, it's like
Hmm.
it's a thin line between it's big regulatory. You can't give people's personal information and what they're
Yeah.
taking.
Hmm.
So, but
Yeah.
but you can use the two initials.
Hmm.
That's what
And
they
you
do now. You
and
don't
you,
have
you can so now you can see that product is so versatile, right? It is so versatile. It's even I was talking to a lady who worked for is it L'Oreal, and she works on the lipsticks, right? And now
mhm.
there's product managers for lipstick working closely with
Because
uh,
I align product management too. It's with branding because
exactly.
they're putting together stories. So when I was at Kaiser, um, and I was working on the COVID team, we had to put out messaging that
Hmm.
drove them to come in and get it. That was the CTA or call to action. But it was
Hmm.
different people had different circumstances. So for example, pregnant women, there was concerns about, is it going to be safe for my baby? So we had to write up language that said it is safe. And CDC endorses it and it's safe, blah, blah, blah. So those are things people want to see. So that's one whole content. So it's content management, marketing, and they embed videos. I had even forgot to put that on my resume, and I forgot I work with embed videos in the content. So that's another thing with the tech. There's a lot of embedded
Hmm.
videos and stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and then that would be one whole digital marketing play to that audience. Then you got people that have kids in school. That's another one. You're concerned about your child, in the
Hmm.
age group, and you're just kind of supporting what CDC is saying for those that have respect for them. And same thing, videos, or we have to pick pictures that would evoke emotion, somebody in school or their kid dropping them off, but them looking safe and healthy. So it's a lot of branding content, and we discuss it and it has to get approved with, is this the right, do we want to position the language like this? And they may only have a short blurb, of
Hmm.
space to say it in, but it's different markets that you're targeting. So you are targeting, all these different, like you said, end users that speak to these different things that people want to know, see, confirm, support. Because in healthcare, we need validation that this has been tested or it's true before I
Hmm.
make this big decision. Do I want to give my kid a shot, whether it's flu shot or COVID? But in this case, it was COVID. And is it okay to do both of them together? That's a whole nother story. But yeah, so it'd be interesting. And they would pick photos that,
Hmm.
we have to go through photos too to look at the imaging. And then they decided that we're going to put this through text messaging. Maybe not that specific thing, but they'll send blurbs now through text messaging to drive people in to get the COVID or flu shot,
Hmm.
whatever way they can reach them. Because a lot of people don't read emails, or some seniors might, but they're finding more people respond to text. Now, they usually hire third-party companies for that, and you can only have so much syntax. So that's a whole nother between the,
Yeah.
not just email now, it's texting out.
Hmm. Yeah. So now you realize that there's so many like
Components. Yeah.
components to it, and that's why I'm glad that you're coming up with all these because
Because
shows that
everything
you
I just said, it doesn't just have to be used in healthcare. It could be
yeah
advertising, you could be in
it,
entertainment,
it
doing
could
an
it could
album.
be anywhere
It could be
um
anywhere.
anywhere. It could be I mean product managers are needed in retail, in fintech, anywhere there's tech, product managers are needed because the CEO cannot do everything to innovate and move the needle, and that's why customer development is very, very, very critical. There's one I just forgot the name, something RX, where you get your very cheap
Good RX,
good RX. Yep.
Yeah, that's a
Cool.
discount platform. Yeah, and they're also just giving out information about the prescription, and they're giving you alternatives, because most people go, well, they told me to take this, but if you can't afford it, you need to check for the alternative. You're supposed to go back to your doctor. So they're kind of there to do that, because once you do the doctor visit, they kind of cut you off. But now, depending on your insurance, you have email and can access your doctor that way. If you, again, it depends on the market. Most people are computer savvy, but you have a whole market of seniors that don't know how to send an email, but you can reach out and ask. Or if you don't, and you just want to go to GoodRx and see what's comparable, do you guys have any coupons? I'll pay for it. And that's what they're doing. They're providing discounts.
Yep. And guess how much?
And nobody was doing that. Nobody was doing it. So they grabbed the niche market.
It's a very, very niche product. So this is where customer research comes in, right?
Yes.
They listen to the customers, understand, and look at where there are gaps in the landscape. So basically, what GoodRx really is just a coupon and discounting services, and they're generating 745 million annually.
And they got a bunch of pharmacists working for them. So that's
exactly,
and telling you the drug interactions. They're doing the stuff that carriers should be able to do.
But check, the thing is this: it has evolved to the point where you don't need pharmacists to tell you. There are computers that can tell you the drug interactions using AI and machine learning. When it tells you this drug is synergistic to the other, it tells you all this stuff. So all these things come from real, research, right? Customer research. Understanding the landscape. So all these things that we talked about in lectures from the past week or two, this is exactly what is being done. And I'm about telling Shantae and Faloni that customer research and market analysis is like an ongoing thing. It's also, the moment you stop doing that, your product or company will cease to exist.
Well, don't you agree? No matter what, because we're using technology and everything's digital. No. Everybody has to do it unless they want their business to die. Even the small business owners have to be on Yelp or something, but everything from DirecTV to, like you said, they have to get on digital, and they have to know the landscape of their customers. If they don't, that's how you lose them.
Exactly. Yeah. I would say Xerox, right? Xerox are no longer no, Xerox. I mean, what's the name of the other one? This company that Kodak, rather. Like Kodak.
Xerox and Kodak, because I think. Go ahead.
Yeah, Kodak basically was simply, they had the revenue, they had everything to really be they did cameras, they did the films. They just didn't, that was their bread and butter, but they did not realize that the landscape was shifting. Right? The landscape was shifting. So instead of focusing more on the film, they should have shifted to digital and even to, all these how do you call it, storage devices. So they could have bought like one of these upstarts that does USBs and build storage and build digital cameras, and
they would have been okay.
Acquire a company. So these are some of the things that, as a product manager, you are constantly doing research and looking at the landscape. Like, hey, look at the trend. We are in the stone age of photography. People have to take pictures, and then they have to put it on a film, and then they have to go to a place to have it printed. Things are changing. Let's shift and buy these softwares that will allow us to stay relevant.
And they didn't.
Because
that's scary.
It is.
So they lost it just like that. If you're not up and on it, you could just lose your business because you didn't make you didn't go in the right direction at the right time.
Yep. So it says, Kodak failed to anticipate how fast digital cameras are becoming a commodity with low profit margins. So they just thought their thing was where it was, the film.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2001, Kodak held the number 2 spot, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But now nobody talks about Kodak.
Nobody talk. You wouldn't even think they existed.
Exactly. So now, guess what they're shifting to? Guess what they're shifting to now?
For photos?
They're now going to pharmaceutical.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They're now looking at, doing pharmaceutical products. They lost a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
I'm sure they fired a whole bunch of people because they didn't.
Well, because and that's why product customer development is important.
Mm-hmm.
When you ask customers, I once was sharing, if you use an iPhone,
Mm-hmm.
when you are trying to turn off your phone, you how do you turn it off?
I turn mine off on the side and hold it in, and then swipe.
Exactly, the swipe.
Mm-hmm.
And you know where the swipe to thing came to unlock and all that. You know where that comes from?
Mm-hmm. Where?
I shared that before. Shantae, do you remember?
Who did they steal it from? Hold on.
Let me see if Shantae remembers.
It might have been before my time.
It was I think the product manager was on an airplane and he saw the door. The bathroom door was a swipe left, swipe right, because they was trying to figure out for a long time on how they can protect the screen.
Exactly.
What?
Very good.
What
very
does
good
the
memory there.
have to do?
Thank you, Shantae. I'm glad you remember it. So
You're welcome.
Earlier on, I shared, in class, the bathroom door on airplanes has that thing that when you go in there, you turn it to swipe and then it locks the door. And
Yes,
then
yes.
to get in. So after the years doing all the R&D and for iPhone and everything was good, the screen is always on. How do you keep it on or off? So you're looking for so many other ways. Maybe you tap the corner, or maybe you shake it, or maybe you do this. So you look at so many different iterations. And then on a flight, he had to go use the bathroom, and he realized that you slide that thing and the door opens, you go in, do your business, you lock it behind you, and when you come outside, you swipe again and it closes. Like, so, and you see that thing has the same.
So he had an Oprah moment in the bathroom and he was like, that's it.
Exactly. So
that's good.
Insights come from everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I kid you not, if you go, every time I go on the train, I'm always observing as a product manager, and I can count how many iPhones I see compared to Androids on any given day.
Mm-hmm.
On any given day, I can count, and I'll see so many iPhones, iPhone, Android here, iPhone, Android, right? Like Steve Jobs sent his product managers out of the building for months on end. They were on the Bay Area Rapid Transit. They were in Chicago. They were in New York. They went to all the metro cities, and they observed people commuting, people trying to read their book while on a long commute. So they're like, okay, touch screen. They can listen to podcasts, and they can read from the devices. And the touch is like the natural input device is your finger. So that is one thing that I find innovative about Apple, is that they really go deep when it comes to dealing with the core, right, of a product. They really go deeper to understand what the nuances of it, the human factors of it, the design aesthetics. Like, they take a holistic approach.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that has helped their products to really stand out. And when the people that use them always find utility and keep going back and back and back.
Mm-hmm.
That is something that a product manager should always be looking to emulate, or have that keen sense of who would have thought that to lock something on a airplane toilet will be the inspiration
He
for the
would he
iPhone.
would get his ideas.
Exactly.
They say keep have you keep a notebook by the bed
Hmm.
in case you wake up in the middle of the night because the best ideas could come then at any given
Hmm.
moment.
Yeah. All right. Let me bring our conversation back to the lectures. But thanks for the insight. I definitely sense your enthusiasm with a lot of great examples out there.
Well,
Right.
I'm just glad I can apply it to any, like
Yes.
you said.
Yeah.
Now I
Hmm.
realized that light bulb on for me is I realized that all of that stuff I was doing can apply to any industry
Any industry.
because
And fintech.
they're doing the same thing, just maybe
Only
in a
thing you
different way.
only thing you need to know is
You need
understanding
the
the
in
SME to become the subject matter expert, to get a domain expertise. You can
yes,
read
that's
up on
true.
the industry and be really conversant and
And
understand
what the company does,
exactly.
their
And then
approach.
you tie it all back in and spit it out to them.
Yes. Yep.
Hmm. Yeah. So yeah. So I'm just going to reiterate. So you have to keep up on the competitive product research. I talked about reading blog posts, watching webinars, tracking product reviews like Product Hunt .com. Follow them on social media. Set up a Google alert for the products. So whenever it's mentioned, you get the notification. All that good stuff. Divide and conquer. Separate them into mini subject matter. These are the top tier, like a quadrant, right? So you divvy up things based on channel, so that you can get a holistic view of what a given competitor is up to. You know, because you're not going to track every company in your industry. You have to find those that are really relevant to you, right? Facebook doesn't go looking for the new upstart until they hit their radar, right? So they're always like snooping around. Um, Always define what you're tracking, so you don't find yourself just wasting time in a rabbit hole, on a long rabbit hole, just looking and looking. But you should be able to define what you're tracking. So the thing is, you don't need to know everything about your competitors. Narrow it down to only the important stuff, right? So that you can create a consistent competitive analysis approach. And then you can figure out what key elements you should note and what to skip. So some key things you might want to focus on are like major new features that they launch. So when Apple is doing their Apple Developer Conference, you should grab a popcorn, get some whatever, and get your team rally around and watch it. You're not wasting time. It's a fun thing to do, but it's very insightful and very informative. So don't focus on everything about the company when the CEO has an affair or that stuff, or snooping around to find where they live. That's TMI or overkill. Define what you're tracking, scale it down to only the important stuff. Major new features. When there's any third-party integration and partnerships with other third parties, read up on it. Or why are they partnering with this new people? Like Apple partnered with Burberry. You know Burberry? So the Burberry is like a luxury fashion house.
Yeah, fashion.
Yeah, but Apple partnered with them to
Mhm.
for the Apple Store to give it that posh, clean, luxury look, right?
Mhm.
Um, Let me just give you this. How do you call it? Have you ever heard about what happened with Payless experiment that they conducted? So Payless just did an experiment where Payless is known for having what very cheap shoes and all that, right? So they did an experiment where they actually sent people to their stores and told them there's a new brand, and they called it Palesi, an Italian name, and told them these are all high-end stuff. And
Mhm.
guess what? And what they did was they mark up the price, and people ate it up. They went in. I think I probably should. This would be good if we can hear it, so I can play it here. Can you hear it?
No.
I can't hear it.
We don't hear it.
Okay. Okay, hold up. So let's do this. Okay, so I just want to show you this video of how Payless actually use this as a way to prove that brand and luxury. When you make things look a certain way, people will pay for more, right? So they I'll let the video speak for itself. Please watch.
We at Payless wondered how much people would pay for our shoes if they didn't know they were our shoes. So we rebranded for a weekend. We built a fake luxury store, filled it with avant-garde sculptures and displays. We even hired a full team of sales associates. Then we filled all the shelves with Payless shoes and jacked up our prices as much as 1,800%. And finally, we gave it what you might call a fancier name. Welcome to Palessi.
Palessi is just such high quality, high fashion. It's taking your shoe game like up to the next level.
It's like very, European, very, upscale.
The guests at the Palessi grand opening party had no idea any of these shoes were from Payless.
It looks really well made. I love a heel that's kind of chunky because it means you can like jump up and down, do some backflips maybe.
It's a stunner. It's one of those shoes that you're just going to get compliments on over and over again.
Elegant, sophisticated, and versatile.
For me to experience this as an Italian designer is amazing.
I could definitely wear this to like a Met Gala dinner.
Just think it's so unique.
I would definitely spend $295 on a pump like this.
I would pay like $300-400 for these shoes for sure.
I'd probably spend about $500 on this.
Compliments are great and all, but would these fashionista influencer types open up their wallets for our shoes? We watched from a room backstage as our first customer approached the register. We all celebrated the first sale, but then we witnessed more and more shoes selling. Shoes sold for $250, $400, and even $600. But before any of them left, we let them know the shoes were actually from Payless.
What? No way.
You've got to be kidding me.
Shut up. Are you serious? No. Wait, did I just pay too much?
I love Christian Siriano. Oh, I would support this.
Anyone who bought the shoes got them from us as a free gift, but we proved that they could sell for over 10 times the normal Payless price. Now anyone can come into Payless and get these same exact shoes for as low as $19.99.
I am very, very happy with this purchase, and I will be going to Payless for a lot more shoes.
So you're saying they should have kept it and not tell them?
Because they out of business now. Their whole thing was selling shoes that were affordable, and they're now gone. They should have probably just rebranded. I mean, that was kind of like a market test, and they saw it was successful.
Very successful. Yeah. I mean, it goes to show, like when you go to a place like Saks Fifth, which I do shop sometimes, but I never buy because I use my credit cards. They want to give me to just buy stuff. And it's like, perception is everything, right? When you give people that look of luxury, of great, of this, they are ready to,
That's how iPhone's selling too. It's just like you said, it's a luxury, gotta have it, or it feels like you got the best of the best.
I mean,
even if it's not true.
I mean, that's true. You're right? But in some cases,
because
it's true.
I don't think that iPhone is the best. I mean, they have issues and problems, but they try to have a persona that they don't. That the phone is not flawed or the software is, and I shouldn't say the phone because that's hardware. But yeah.
So that's an example of how, when you do proper customer development and research, you can get a pulse on the users, right? You can get a real sense, and our minds are crafted in a way that it's very malleable, and we're susceptible to suggestion. That's why advertising works, right? That's why things like hate can be. Nobody's born hating, but it's a learned behavior, right? Depending on the environment that you're in, you can now be someone that is hateful, right? Or perception towards like the school you go to. Like everybody thinks when you mention Harvard, everyone assumes that you're very intelligent, right?
Mm-mm.
But is that always the case? Is that always true?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, you know. But
What school did Trump go to?
I'm not gonna go there.
And
All right. So
you know, Payless shoes are known. They're supposed to hurt your feet, though. That was one of the things they didn't mention. But maybe
well,
they made them better. But yeah, they would hurt your feet, certain ones. Not
I
all.
guess if it doesn't hurt your feet, it's not Payless.
Mm-hmm.
That should be a tagline for Payless. Yeah. So yeah. So back on the topic. So you can see how having that in place gives you like a very luxury. When people think they're paying for luxury, they'll pay a whole lot. So the things you want to track is the major news features about the company, the new features that they come out with, third-party integrations and partnerships, new market campaign themes. I think I did that with Shantae. We looked at how you can actually snoop around and see how your competition is doing their market. We used a tool called how do you call it? Moat, MOAT. Did you see that? I think that was before you joined the class, right?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. I'll just touch up on that real quick. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see it.
Yeah. So basically, moat is like how you can go in to check on your competitors and see. So like, tell me any brand that you wanna to check up on.
Oh, okay. Measure consumer attention across channels. Moat.
Mm-hmm. What company do you want me to check on, real quick? Let's say
Walgreens.
okay, let's see, Walgreens. So we want to see the pharmacy or the whole photo center? Let's do the brand. So so this is it displays ads. Let's see. Let's see what it's gonna come out with. So refresh. How is it blocking the ads? Let's see. Let me pick one that it's.
Walgreens should be nationwide.
No, it is, but I think I don't know if it's for some reason, see, it's loading, but it's not coming up yet. I don't know why. Something just happened. You can see my screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my connection dropped. That's why. Let's go back. Okay, let's see Walgreens one more time. So it's spinning. I don't know why it's taking so long. Anyway, let's try something else. Let me try T-Mobile, like the phone companies.
Mm-hmm.
Is it wanting me to sign in now? sign up for an account. Anyway, but the tool is called Moat. You can use that to do the research. For some reason, it's not responding, but we did it before in class to basically show how we can pick up on our competitors and learn about them. So again, major new pricing and packaging changes. You have to look at how they package things. Financial news, the key hires and departures, people that are leaving the company. If the, Facebook will hire Sheryl Sandberg from Google, that is a big thing, right? Because there are some things are moving. Pricing and packaging changes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you should also organize your insights, right? So first thing you want to do is divide and conquer, right? In this case, you research your competition by splitting up which companies you're each going to track. That's your team. So usually there's a group of product managers, just not you. So you divvy it up, and okay, team A will look up these ones, and on this channel, and this will look at this section, and so that you can have a holistic view of what a given competitor is up to. And then you define what you're tracking, because you're not tracking everything. Looking at major new features they launch, third-party integration and partnerships, new marketing campaign themes, major new customer announcements, pricing and packaging changes, financial news, whether they receive new funding, earnings reports, sales figures, etc. When they have new key hires. Also, you want to organize your thoughts and insights. So it's important as a product manager, there should be consistency in your researching. So it doesn't matter if you opt out for competitive intelligence dashboard or shared Google Doc. You need to find the relevant information you've gleaned from your research. So if someone asks you what's new with company X or the value proposition of product Y, you should quickly know that. So this helps you to be like the SME, subject matter expert, that people can tell you, hey, Simone, do you have a second? Sure. So what's up with Walgreens or CVS, or what's the PBM, or all these things? And you should I don't know, I have to go look it up. You should be always a wealth of information.
You should be walking around, right, and know what's happening. Last I heard, yeah.
Yep. So you can be like, oh yeah, so this is what's happening. The new CEO joined this, and as a result, this happened, and they released this new feature that is scaling the competition. Really? Can you get some numbers on that? No, I actually do. I did some insight, and they have increased their margins by this percentage, and by that, month over month. And so it's like, wow, okay. So what can we do to be competitive? So that's kind of how you want to be, right? That's how you want to be. Another thing too is that you want to create a comparison matrix, right? Have a comparison matrix in an Excel sheet or something with your competitors identified and your information and collected, right? So this way you can have like stacks of information about them. So at a glance, you should be able to make a comparison. Features, platform compatibility, integrations, industries, the verticals that they are serving, the key customers, and pricing. When you do a comparison matrix, so when you do that, it gives you like some sort of a bird's eye view of what's going on. It doesn't have to be like very detailed and nuanced, but it should be enough to capture and see quickly what's going on. Kind of like your car's dashboard when you're driving. When you see that it says E, it's almost empty, right? You don't need a rocket scientist to tell you that. So when you have that matrix, it becomes like a dashboard. So your ability to see a snapshot is a good insight or resource to guide you. So think of yourself as like you're flying a plane or driving a car, and that's the dashboard or snapshot that is telling you the indication of how the market is going, the market forces, right? And then you set together like a battle plan, a card. Each competitor has his own battle card where have insights about them, what they are achieving. This might sound weird, but when I was in school, I remember one girl that used to keep tabs on me on um, what the grades I got in what class and my score, so she can get a metrics on how she needs to do better to outdo me. And she had other friends, other lady friends who come around and snoop around and say, "So what did you do? How did you what did you get on this math test?" And when I tell them, they then go back and report to HQ, which was kind of funny. But that's how she could plan to stay ahead of the competition. So understanding each company, you have a matrix for them, so you know what their unique selling proposition is. You understand, when you use the battle cards, you'll be able to know in advance which areas your own offering is better at, as well as the things your competitor does better. Because always, your competition is your competition because they probably do something better than you are currently doing, right? And likewise, you could be doing something better than they do. So having a battle card, you have a solid grasp on you as a company and what you are achieving on any daily basis or monthly basis. And then you also know what your competition is doing, so you can always know what's best and how to innovate. So you know which areas that your offering is better, as well as things will allow your salespeople to better prepare their pitch and not be surprised when things come up during meetings, right? In some cases, you want to loop in marketing as well, right? So the marketing also have their own battle cards, and these cards are like so these cards are kind of like a way to know, like a sort of a cheat sheet on your competition that allows you to get insights, right? And so when marketing is in on the scoop, sales is in on the scoop, these cards can highlight the areas where your product is superior to prospects, and then they can put out their communicate their messaging and all that stuff, the call to action. And these can also be used defensively if a current customer is considering a switch to an alternative. So when you know what your product offering is, your salespeople can, basically have a narrative that, yes, there are competitors. This is what they do. This is what their insights are. This is what they offer. This is how we stack up. This is where their strengths are. This is where we actually shine. And then right there, they're like, you know what? You've been very helpful to me, giving me all this insight. I want to go with you guys, right? So this is how you gather data. So the gathering data is not just like being nosy. There's a method to the madness, right? And when you gather all this information, you also want to share it. Share it with your team. So when Faloni has done all this research and she's spewing all this data, everybody's like, shoot, you need anything? You need to go to her. If you need anything about, so she's in the airline industry. So assuming like you want to know anything about Delta and the new products that just come out, you got to find Faloni. If you want to find anything about how United is doing or American Airlines or any of the competitors, she has her fingers on their pulse. She can tell you the fleet size, how many delays they had, what is their NPS, which is a Net Promoter Score, what new routes they are taking on, like all these things. They just took delivery of this new Boeing, whatever, or they just, all that stuff. You need to like know them and have that on your dashboard, like as a competitor analysis and a battle card. So you can at any time be able to give a defense to say, American Airlines is great, but Delta offers this, that. I think there's a new feature. I think I saw how do you call it? I can share that with you. It's a new feature at I think Detroit Airport.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about, where it displays more information or something like that about your trip, right?
Yep, and it displays it only to you, but nobody else can see it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I heard we read about it. They're testing it in Detroit, and I don't know if it's only Detroit and there's one more airport. I'm not sure, but yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah, so it's called parallel reality. Yeah.
Yep.
So you can see how this is product management. This is a product. It's done by a company called Parallel Reality. So Faloni, you've heard about it, correct?
Yes, I read about it on our homepage when we log in.
Okay, yep. Exactly. So this is like, this is a game changer. I'm gonna share that video so we can all see it. Give me 1 second. Let me go back. And this time when I share,
and we've been helping, well, me and my coworkers, we've been helping the guy from headquarters.
Well, you'll notice this right after you go.
Sorry, go ahead.
You'll notice this right after you.
Faloni, you're saying something.
Oh, I was saying, remember in the meeting, I was telling you that there's a product owner on the technology team
Yes.
in the baggage office. Yeah, he's been coming back and forth, like I told you. So he was here all day today. And, you know, we're all in the office, in the baggage office. We're all helping him test the software too for the bags. And he told us a bunch more features that are coming later in the year and also next year too. So he said he's in charge of the self bag tag kiosk. That's, you know, that's him, that's his stuff. And you know, where you just put in your confirmation number and you put your bag tag. If you have to pay for it, and your bag tag comes out.
Yep. Yeah. So for the benefit of Simone and Shantae, I want to play this video real quick so they can also experience that.
For you, McNamara Terminal at Metro Airport.
Yeah,
You'll notice this right after you go through security at the McNamara Terminal at Metro Airport.
Yeah, it's a big screen offering up something called parallel reality to help passengers figure out where to go and a whole lot more. Evrod Cassimy live at DTW tonight. This looks pretty cool, Evrod.
Oh, it is absolutely incredible technology, Jason and Karen. You just have to see it for yourselves. Normally, when you're trying to catch your flight and you have to figure out what your gate information is, your boarding time, you would take a look at the big board right here and have to scan through all of the different flights that are on there. But now, Delta has created this personalized big board just for you. Watch this.
Oh my God!
This big arch and information desk is getting all kinds of reaction from passengers traveling through Metro Airport.
It's very cool.
Passengers like the Adi family had never seen it before and wondered, what the heck is it?
I was kind of surprised. I didn't know exactly what I was looking for because they didn't tell us what we were supposed to be looking for. So when I saw my name up there, I was like, can everybody see my information? Then I realized my sister could only see hers.
My first name is up there. And it says what medallion status I have, everything, pretty much all the details, which gate, how many minutes I had to walk through.
I see you trying to fool me.
There's no fooling here. With each Delta passenger walking through, the board displays only their travel itinerary.
I see that there's nothing on the screen.
But what do you see for you?
I see that there's hello Virgil, thank you for flying Delta, gate 30, 838, 3-minute walk.
Perfect.
The display fundamentally can direct different content towards each person that looks at it. Above us is a motion sensor that detects moving objects as they're walking around.
What?
And when one of these moving objects scans their boarding pass, that's how the display knows to direct that flight information towards that moving object as they're walking around.
That is wild.
And the display can show personalized flight information for up to 100 travelers at a time.
So how it all works is pretty simple. All you have to do is walk up to the desk, scan your boarding pass, and your boarding information is displayed on the big screen only for you to see. The technology behind it is what makes it all possible.
And it's in the pixels of the display itself.
Wow.
So each pixel is capable of controlling the color of light that it projects in many different directions. But right now, I'm only seeing a blank airplane because I didn't opt in. I didn't, scan my boarding pass or anything like that.
You don't see anything on the screen?
Nope. So if the camera can pan back behind my head, you can see that I am truly not seeing anything.
The digital ID technology was first tested at Delta here in Detroit amongst the employees.
The parallel reality experience has been a few years in the making through a partnership between Delta and Misapplied Sciences. It was just unveiled for public use for Delta travelers on June 28th, and Metro Airport is the first airport in the world to use it. once they get past the initial surprise about how it all works.
Well, it's helpful. I mean, just because I was, I'm thinking, okay, where do I go from here? At this point. So absolutely, it's definitely helpful.
And back out here live right now, you can see the big board here, the personalized big board, the parallel reality experience. The goal is to have this technology in airports all across the country and eventually all across the world. And then coming soon, they'll be able to display your flight itinerary in your preferred language. Reporting live here at DTW, Evrod Cassimy, Local 4.
Pretty darn cool, Evrod. Okay, so you tried it. You think you would use this when you fly in and out of DTW?
Do you think I'd use it? I know you can't see my flight itinerary, but I have a flight to catch right now. No, I kid. But absolutely, this is incredible technology. And you should have seen my reaction when I saw my name up there for the very first time. This is remarkable technology, and I think a lot of people are going to start using this because it makes the flying experience simplified. Wow. Back to you.
So crazy. You can see it, but the person right next to you can't see it. I'm still going to check it out next time I go. All right. Thank you, Evrod.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah, they need this in JFK and LaGuardia for sure. Because when I first heard about it, I was like, but wait, can everyone see it? Because that's obviously a security issue. Mm-hmm. And I think there's still potential for it to be a security issue as far as, well, how easily can that program be hacked? Pretty much. That's really the only thing. That's really the only thing you got to think about.
And those are very good, valid questions. And this is where product management comes in. Because you have to now dig into it and see, okay, what is it, the security? What about a hacker gets this? Or what if this? Or what if that, right? These are the things, the misapplied sciences, they basically decide, okay, this is great. And they create it. Now you as a product manager has to be the go-between to make sure that it is actually safe for the end user, right? You work with compliance, you work with legal, you work with all these other stakeholders to make sure that this would work as intended, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So there you go. It is. Product management is everywhere. It's wherever there's technology, there's product management. And so you can see why it's very important that we take customer market research, customer development, and all that stuff very, very important. It's, very important. So once you join in, it triggered that memory, and I think it was a great thing. I keep tabs on all these because this is my field. I'm always thinking about the next cool thing and how the product management the product that has been released is impacted. So I'm able to now, I'm excited. I want to work at Delta, right? Besides the free travel perks that I might get. This is something exciting that I would love to work on or be a part of, right? So, you should always be, sharing your intelligence that you gather. You can also do something like every 2 weeks or every week, you compile all this information and send it in an email blast to your team. When it's always coming from you, it's like that office social currency that everyone's getting very insightful things. The CEO is reading it, all your peers are reading it. When you come to meetings, people have a different perception of who you are and the ground that you hold, because you come in, you are always bringing in fresh and innovative insights, right? So you find all the juicy tidbits about your competitors, share with your team. You want to be seen as someone who's on top of the news and don't want to, be the one that, oh, I don't have anything to contribute, right? You should always be as part of stakeholder management, right? You should be able to fill them up or the new things that they are not privy to. And then, you should be able to do regular reviews and overviews of these. And then, so beyond the breaking news, it's always a good idea to take a step back and holistically review your overall assessment of each major competitor or product. So Filoni raised something about security. That's a valid point. So you can go a little deep dive. So, hey guys, so I heard about this thing, it's parallel reality. by Misapplied Sciences. It's been tested out in Detroit, Wayne, blah, 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 blah. But this is what I think the security issue, but I went deeper and I found out because of these safety measures, so it shouldn't be an issue, or there's some safeguards, whatnot. So then it's like, oh, okay, she's, so you're thinking holistically about the whole thing. So being able to, forest versus trees, you can tell the trees from the forest, right? So that you might uncover a trend and still miss the main thing about it, but it's a good exercise to always renew yourself and familiarize yourself with whom your product is up against. And then with all this, you want to turn all that intelligence into action, turn competitive intelligence into action. So after compiling, organizing, and sharing all these data points, it's all pointless if it's not going to inform the actions of your team and your organization. So as a product manager, you have to be sure that a competitive analysis is always an initial part of any decision-making or prioritization activity. So customer development done right, market analysis done right, will give you bucket loads of information, and that will inform your prioritization of what should be built next, and in your decision-making activity, right, and your road mapping. So, and while so it's really important, so it competitive analysis is part of it and part of your decision-making and prioritization, but it shouldn't be the only driver for what makes it onto the roadmap, right? But it can't be ignored. So you're understanding what is crucial to figure out what differentiates your product versus what is sorely lacking. It's also critical. And addressing the latter will let buyers focus on the former instead of fixating on what your product doesn't do. So you have to know what your product does and doesn't do, as opposed to the competition, and then be able to propose, the right decision making to steer your team to build the right stuff, right? So, and also remember, just because your competitor is doing it doesn't mean you should necessarily need to do it as well. Well, and that would just turn into a feature factory. Oh, Verizon is doing it. Oh, T-Mobile is doing it. Oh, these guys are doing it. Nah, you're doing this analysis to get a data that you now sift through and analyze. And that's why I said customer development goes hand in hand with market research and analysis. So when you bring all the two together, it gives you the yin and the yang to see what is really what you should really be doing. And the secret to an effective product strategy is doing, a few things well and becoming invaluable to some of the markets versus doing the bare minimum to keep a broader swath of prospects potentially interested. So you do a lot to get the core and be laser focused on what really matters than just being the person for everybody, which is not the right approach. And then, so we're gonna go over these. I don't know if you can see it. I'm just gonna repeat the 10 principles of customer development. Always remember, I don't know if this is blocking the view, but focus on your product, always. When you're doing customer development, focus on the product, and you're not there to try to influence. Listen, don't go into pitch ideas, just listen and listen some more, take notes. The longer you listen, people tend to say more. When you talk too much in an interview, you miss a lot and you just hear your voice. When you're quiet, a lot can be said. And people tend to say more because when the silence is awkward, it forces them to go beyond the short and they start telling you more. And that's where you get the insight. So curb your enthusiasm. I know you like your product. It's a nice thing and you got a hunch about it and you think it's the best thing since sliced bread. But what you want to do is hold back and really listen. So you can know what to do and get that loop, the feedback, repeat back what they said a second time to them so that you're sure that you're right about what they're thinking and not assuming. Always take notes, right? You can take notes physically on paper or on a digital tool, or you can record them with their permission, of course. And always don't use leader word cues like would you do this or did you? Because when you say would you, then it's like you're leading them, and it's able to guide and predict their behavior, right? Avoid questions that are basically loaded questions that will just guide them into some outcome that you want, right? So when you say, is this a good design? They don't want to say, nah, it sucks. They say, yeah, I think it's good, because they want to train to be nice, right? Rarely would you find a person say, you know what, this really sucks. And when they say that, they look like they're a bad person, right? So especially when they know you spend a lot of time putting together the mock-up or the MVP. So you say, what do you think of this design, right? So that they can have an opinion. Then, is this a good? How would you improve it, right? So that they have an objective than a subjective view. Avoid questions that will be simply a yes or a no. You should questions that will make people ask more and speak more than just a simple yes or no. Don't have the intention to go out there to validate your own agenda. Go in there to actually invalidate, because you want to make sure that you are not just like, drinking a Kool-Aid. You want to make sure that you actually get false positives, or you get like people that don't like it genuinely, so that you can know that you're doing the right thing. So you're, backing up against the not backing up against the wrong tree, so to speak. And interview, right? As many interviews as you can. The more sample size that you interview, the more insight you get. And then you should always have the hello? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. All right, I thought I lost you guys for a second. Yeah. So avoid talking about your product or your ideas until the end. So don't tell them what the full thing. Just reveal enough that will make them think more, like, and speak their mind, than just trying to drive home your own agenda. And then that will taint the whole interview, because they have been given some prior information that would some prior information that will actually jeopardize the outcome altogether. All right. And then finally, I think one of the things that we talked about, share that one, and then we can wrap up. But we talked about this last week. I'm just reiterating. Can you see my screen?
No, I don't see anything.
Okay, let me share again. Okay. Well, I'll just read it, because for some reason it timed out on me here. Still connecting. Okay, we're back. Let's see. Let's try it one more time. Jeez. It's not working. Okay.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. Okay. And always avoid this is a mistake that people make, that, oh, I have this great idea, and if I build it, they will come. So I don't need to do any research. That is a no-no. And then internalizing the problem. So all the potential issues, and so you think, oh, internally everyone is giving you thumbs up. Confirmation bias. You go in wanting to be right. So that's where you want to avoid what we call how do you call it? Trying to validate your idea. So that will inform the way you ask the questions. They should be open-ended, so that you get and go in with the expectation that you actually want your idea to be shot down and get what we call constructive criticism. When you have a thin skin and you go on to seek validation in an echo chamber, you want to hear what people will say that will validate your idea, then it will skew the perception and the kind of questions that you ask to unearth the right answers, right? And then avoid questions that we call social desirability bias, where they will want to please you by saying yeah, right? And so keep it very objective, and keep it very open-ended. Remove your own emotional attachments to it, and just let the chips fall where they may. Let the data speak, so to speak.
Got it.
Yeah. And again, we can go deeper and deeper and deeper, but this is just as you become senior product managers and become like VP of products, you have to go a bit deeper, how to go deeper, and how to write experiments, how to test them, how do you, in some companies, you might have a dedicated team that does all this. So when you have a team that does all this stuff, it makes it a bit easier. You product managers can focus on what is important to you versus so we have a dedicated UX researcher who has a PhD and other PhDs, and they do the anthropological research. They ask the right questions. You share insights. You get that insights and bring it back to your team. You build. You measure what was built. So basically, you get ideas. You build. You create a iteration of the product. Then you measure it, and then after you measure, you get data, and from that data, you learn from that data to form the next iteration of the idea. So you keep going through that over and over and over, and it's a ongoing cycle until the product is no longer. Because the moment you take your foot off the gas, you're basically saying you're inviting death to your company, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
Okay. You guys still want to go some more or take a break and continue later?
I'm gonna have to drop, but you guys can continue on. It's good info today.
Yeah. Yes. I get too excited and sometimes you have to stop me. I don't know if you guys can see that, but yeah. I will just go through this real quick, and then at least I can say we've done some good justice to this. Let's see, where is it? Let's see. No, that's put in the wrong place. Okay, right here. All right, let me share my screen. So after we've done all this, let's look at this right here. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up with this. So basically, we've looked at the importance of market research and the importance of doing customer development and doing it the right way. We've looked at the tools that are needed to do effective customer research. We've looked at why customer development is very important. And now we've also talked about all this. You have to look at finally how to bring it all home together to form what we call product market fits, which means after doing the market analysis and looking into the competition from the marketing standpoint and all that, the feature standpoint, now you've also looked at the customers and developed their persona and their needs, their pain points. We do all this because 9 out of 10 products fail. Google came out with Google, they have something called Buzz, it failed. Facebook launched stuff that failed. So many things they launched that fail. So 9 out of 10 products or startup fail. So you have a 10% win rate. So how do you prevent yourself from being a casualty? By doing effective research market analysis, and customer development to inform what needs to be built. So 9 out of 10 products fail. 66% will change the original plans. That's a pivot, which is fine, because when you change your plan 66% in, it gives you about a 30% chance of succeeding. So sometimes you need you have to iterate, right? So you have to find a different path, a path that works before running out of resources. So resources are limited in terms of fund. Resources are limited in terms of time to market. Because time, like as one esteemed product manager said, life is too short to be building products that nobody needs, right? So you should be. That's Ash Moria. Life is too short to build products that nobody needs. You need to be optimizing time, cost, and all that. A plan that works is product market fit. So here you have done your customer development, you've done your market analysis, and you found synergy. That's a product market fit, which means the product you're proposing, it's needed by the market that it's intended for, based on the research that you've conducted, and everything crystallizes. And now you want to proceed as a team to build. What is product market fit? When customers are buying the product just as fast as you can make it, or the usage is growing just as fast as you can add servers, that is when we call product market fit. So when an anecdotal story is a developer who was facing eviction, was down on his luck, and he wrote a game, and then released it on the iPhone and on the web, and all of a sudden it was earning $200,000 a day from ad revenue and paid subscriptions, and he was spending a lot of money on servers to keep it running, because he had to keep up with millions of people logging in and bringing the service down. That was a good problem to have. He had a product market fit. So what does he do? Does he sell the product, or does he keep building, or does he just, enough, I've made enough money, let me just leave, right? So when the customers are buying your product as much as you can have enough servers to keep them going, that's a good thing to have. If you have to ask whether you have product market fit, the answer is simple. You don't. You would know if you know, right? You know if you have product market fit or not. Because based on the data you've gleaned from your research and everything you've conducted, you would know, because the data speaks. Getting to product market fit can be done systematically. So that's following the science of product research, product development, customer development, and market analysis. So you have the problem, and then the solution fit, and then early traction. Problem, solution, fit. You have to find out, do you really have a problem worth solving? This is where the product manager comes in. You have to be the gatekeeper, and you have to have your spidey sense or product sense on to really gauge, is this a product or problem worth solving? Right? Document your plan A. As I say, reasonably smart people rationalize anything, but entrepreneurs are especially gifted at this. They're able to rationalize and figure out why you're building something. Is it needed? Business model versus business plan. This is a joke. Business plan is what investors want you to do, but they rarely read. And the business model is a diagram of your business. So you have something like this. This is a business model canvas where you know what are the top 3 problems you're solving, what's the solution you're proposing, what is your unique value proposition or unique selling proposition. And then, so that's on the product side. What are the key metrics or activities that you can measure to know that your product is doing what it's intended to do? What is your cost structure? The customer acquisition cost, distribution cost, hosting, bandwidth, all that good stuff, and the competition. Then on the market side, you have to look at what is your unfair advantage. what are the channels or paths to your customers? Who are your target customers? That's a customer segmentation. And then what does the revenue model look like with the incumbents? And what's the lifetime value of each customer? What's the revenue that you tend to get and the gross margins, right? So this is an example of a product business model canvas that's floating out there. So you fill this out and that can inform and help you build out a roadmap, right? So these are, you formulate an implementation strategy. You have a product, you have the vision first, you have to have a strategy to build the product. First, people want a strategy, not vision. So these are, can you see my screen?
No.
Oh. When did it stop sharing? All right, that's okay. Well, you should have said something.
I thought you knew and you just kept, reading.
Oh, I thought you guys would see it. Sorry. Let me share again. Let's see. So we're here. Okay, so it's this one. Can you see it?
Okay. Yeah, I see it.
Okay. When did you guys miss it? I mean, I can backtrack a bit. Did you see these?
I didn't see it. No.
Okay, let me backtrack a little bit. I'll go through it real quick. How about here?
No.
Okay. Oh, that's bad. Here?
I think I saw this.
Okay. All right. So we know what product market fit is. I want to try and get through this real quick, and then we'll wrap up.
Okay.
Yeah. So when your customers are buying a product just as fast as you can make it, or when your usage is growing so fast that you have to add servers and all that, that's product market fit, right? And that's what I was talking about. The developer who had to buy, was making 200,000 a day, but had to buy so much in server costs, the bandwidth, and all that. If you have to ask whether you have product market fit, the answer is simple: you don't. Eric Ries. So you know, either you know or you don't, because the data you collected will definitely inform where the market is going and where the customers are calling for. To do this is systematic. You have a scientific approach, identify the problem and solution for it, and early traction, product market fit. The solution is, as a product manager, you are charged with knowing and identifying if you really have a problem worth solving. So you don't just go solving anything. And having a plan, as an entrepreneur or product manager, you should be able to rationalize and be able to draw insights more than the average person. So the joke is a business plan is what investors make you write and they don't read. And the business model is a single diagram of your business. And so I went through this, the matrix, or what we call the product or business model canvas, where you have in half, you have the product side and you have the market side, where you understand your top 3 problems and the solutions to it, which are the top 3 features that will provide a solution. And how do you measure them? The key metrics. And the cost structure. How do you acquire customers? The distribution cost, hosting, and people. What is your unique selling proposition? All that stuff. So I don't want to repeat the whole thing. And then on the market side, sizing up your customer segment, the channels, revenue, and your unfair advantage. This is the blank one, business model canvas. Formulating an implementation strategy, having a vision, the strategy to get there to create a product. And like I said earlier, Facebook won on strategy and not vision. There were so many incumbents, MySpace, High Five, Friendster, you name them, but they strategized and they didn't open up to everybody, so they created that exclusivity and that FOMO, fear of missing out. And MySpace was like open to everybody. Anybody could just jump on. So it became saturated, and it was like, soon didn't have a focus, a strategy. It's what Facebook won. Focus on your early adopters first in building. So your early adopters will define your business model. When you focus on your early adopters, they will show you where the money will come from, because your early adopters will be the ones to pay and give you free unsolicited advice on how to enhance the product and help validate your unique value proposition and give data to your metrics and validate your cost structure and test and show if you actually have a solution to the problem. So you have the innovators. Before you start, the early adopters become your innovators. Get your product in there, get the early adopters, and then you have people come in and see that, okay, this is great. So you have your early majority, late majority, and then the late comers who come in later, and it's like, oh, let's do this. And then with that, you build a minimal viable product, which is a smaller solution that delivers the customer value that you propose and captures customer value. So it delivers and captures customer value. Early traction. You have to ask yourself, have I built something people really want? Edward Deming said, in God we trust, all others must bring data. You have to bring data to support what you're building. So early traction, when you get the data, are we really building what we set out to build? Startups don't starve, they drown, because they are building the wrong things and they're not getting traction. Sometimes what they actually, you really want it, but this is what time that again. Zoom, man. Zoom is not doing a good job. Okay.
All right.
So what you wanted versus the reality. So you have to establish a standard measure of progress. This is where metrics come in. And we're going to go like very deep into this as well later in the course. So set up the standard for measure progress, be it accounting for the amount of money that comes in, and the metrics. I'm just going to touch up on this, but we're going to go deeper later. Acquisition. This is what we call the pirate metrics. It's you have AARRR. So pirates go R, right? So it's like acronym and mnemonic to help you understand what you should be tracking, right? So acquisition, activation, retention, revenue, and referral. Acquisition is how do you find your users? Activation is what was your first experience, and is it a smooth experience in signing up, right? Do your users have a great first experience? And then retention is after this. If activation is done well, then will the users come back, right? That's retention. Then when they're retained and they come back, then they will spend some money. That's revenue. And then will they tell others about you? So that is all critical. And I definitely need to get all these slides to you because but I will definitely deliver value before growth. So when you deliver value, that really helps. It's like a funnel. When you acquire them and they have a great first experience, they will want to come back, and then they'll spend money and tell others. Like I always tell people, T-Mobile is the best. They treat me well, so I like them. Doesn't mean like they're somebody may not like them, but for me, it works, right? So a lot of qualitative learning to get an insight. So there's so many unknowns, right? When you do your research and ask the right questions, you can tell the forest from the trees or the signal from the noise, right? You don't need lots of users to learn, just a few good customers, and being able to know what you're working on and iterate from there to get to where you're going, right? On a consistent basis. thing went off again. 1 second. And then I'm gonna wrap up soon because there's a whole lot more to do. So the product market fit, that is now after you attain product market fit, how do you scale your business? Identify your engine of growth. How, what are your growth metrics? Is this thing moving? I think it's stuck, right? What are you guys seeing?
Product market fit.
Yeah, I'm moving on, but it's not changing. And Zoom, come on. Yeah, you know what? I think we should wrap up. That's why.
You made the comment that Zoom wasn't doing well.
It's not. It's not. It keeps going in and out. I'm almost done. If you give me like another 5 minutes, I think we should just finish it up. And then let me check something. Okay, yeah. I'm almost done. So let's tough it out through with Zoom. I'm not happy. Wait, Safari, let's go back here. Okay, and then where's the Zoom? Oh goodness, this is not good. This is not good.
Yeah.
Okay, so after product market fit, how do you scale? You have to identify your engine of growth. I'm just going to speak through it. The growth metrics, how many people are paying, the stickiness is, are users coming back, right? So how do you users find you? Do they have a good experience? Are they paying? The stickiness and the virality is the referral. Are they telling others when things go viral? When people are sharing something, it means it's going viral. They're sharing to other channels and making it trend. A startup can focus on only one metric. So you have to decide what that is and ignore the rest. That's your North Star, right? What's stopping your business from growing 10x? You have to know your data and be able to execute and 10x your growth. Measure everything as a cohort. So cohort is you take a time frame and whatever data you receive in that time frame becomes cohort A, right? Or February's cohort, March's cohort, and then April's cohort, May's cohort, and then you can compare one against the other. You cannot step in the same river twice. So which means data you receive on February will be different from that in March, from April, and on and on and on. So you can, even though it's the same company, same product, the data is not always the same because it's always changing, right? Okay. So these are some of the stuff to look at, like, the tracking the signups, activation, the paid conversion to help you make a decision. Build a continuous feedback loop in your business with customers for rapid hypothesis generation so that you're always getting insight. You know how many people signed up, how many people were activated, how long they've been on. The people that are no longer on, you have to have a sense of, so those that are activated means they had a good experience and they come in. So for example, here you see 1,852 people signed up, 17 people create 17,100 people. So it keeps tapering down. So you have to look at people that are returning, those that haven't activated yet, and always find a way to reactivate them, right? So hi, Shante, you signed up for Lean Canvas, but something kept you from completing the Canvas. What was it? Ask there's anything, and is there anything I can do to help you? So you send this to them to reactivate them. So you can have the data insights for all your users that showed up, those that are activated and those that aren't. It's called reactivating them or waking up the dead, right? and then you send this out to them. So you say, send an email if users has not activated within 7 days of having signed up. So someone signs up for your product, that's you've acquired them, but are they activated? Just downloading the app is one thing, but when they go in and create an account and then set up and ready to use, you can set up to trigger like every so often, 7 days to follow up, or 14 days or whatever. So breakthrough insights are usually hidden within failed experiments. So don't be afraid to fail. When you fail, it's a learning. So the acronym FAIL says first attempt in learning. When you fail, it means, on an experiment or a product, there's always insight into it. Like we said, YouTube started off as a dating application, but today's the world's largest video sharing platform. A pivot not grounded in learning is a disguise as see what sticks strategy. A pivot is a change in strategy. So YouTube pivoted and succeeded, but it was based on data that they saw, what the market was asking for. So looking at before you get a hockey stick growth, what happens between when you start to when you start having that uptick and the inflection point? There's no such thing as a failed experiment, only unexpected outcomes. So there's no failure. There's only failure if you fail to continue. If you stop, as long as you're breathing and you keep on iterating, you will have a breakthrough. Because each failed experiment is a step in the right direction, not to go the way you were going before, right? And with that, say thank you. You should get this book, The Running Lean by Ash Moria. It's a very great read, and it will teach you a lot about this, dealing with customers and building insights and all that. So yeah, that's a lot to take in. Any questions, any concerns? Hello?
Oh, will there be homework this week?
Yes, definitely. I do have the homework. I'm not done yet, but I'm still putting it together because it's a lot.